welcome to our journey to this new space called Thought with Yahweh, where I do have a special message for your life. This special message is from 21st of December of 2025. And I was trying to find in my clothes that Sunday night, but somebody was sleeping, so I was like Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible. Well, I was like him. I asked Yahweh, how do your angels actually not make noises while they are protecting us? I made that question to him because I'm 100% that Yahweh and the angels around me was looking at what I was doing. And Yahweh, with his amazing grace, answered me, they are spirits. And I saw an image of an angel of Yahweh trespassing the cupboard that I have next to me. So it makes sense. And I was like, yeah, obvious. We are literally learning about this where I congregate with my family. So I have another question to ask Yahweh. And it is, why demons that we rebuke in the name of Joshua make a lot of noises? And Yahweh answered me, they are spirits and they are loud. The revelation I got here is that they love to make noises because they want us to notice them, to be afraid of them. So persons that are attention seekers, they are walking like demons. In fact, it's a bad spirit walking in the streets. Conclusion about this. A person that adores the attention to themselves is acting like a demon, not like an angel of Yahweh. That is the start of all, because I understand this revelation. I was so freaking out. My mind was blowing, and I go to my mom to tell her what Yahweh answered me, and then I was just like, let it there. But Yahweh continued talking to me and giving me more revelation. And the fact that Yahweh is speaking here is that we cannot be prideful, because if we're prideful, we are walking like demons and we're not walking like angels of Yahweh. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6. It says like this: your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaveneth the whole lump? Now I understand the importance of being humble. For that reason, Joshua, that is our example, is humble, because humbleness marks us as angels of Yahweh. By the way, the Bible said that we need to act humble and gentle as He. This is so important to me because like a month ago, Yahweh talked to me through a dream that I was prideful, selfish, arrogant, and those things they wasn't liking about me. So He gave me the opportunity of transformation, and we start a battle with those spirits, and I can say now that we have overcome. Well, what we are learning here is that prideful, selfish, arrogance, and all of that is not just a feeling or your personality or a trauma. It's a bad spirit that make people acting that way. In Matthew chapter 12, verses 14 through 15, it said, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. And they enter in and dwell there, and the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. But if you walk in humbleness, in kindness, in gentleness, In the fruits of the Ruah, you are walking as an angel of Joshua. For that reason, we have the authority of rebuking those bad spirits of your own self and from other people and from places too, because you're working like a child of Elohim. Being a child of Elohim is being an angel. If you're an angel, a good one, you're from Yahweh. The victory is for us, brothers and sisters. For that reason, is the fruit of the Ruah, not their spirit, because the Ruach HaKodesh is the spirit of Yahweh. So if you're walking in those fruits, you are walking as an angel of Yahweh, because we are having His spirit and we are being a good spirit. But if you have the spirit of the flesh, that Galatians chapter 5 verses 16 through 26 talks us about, you're walking as a child of the enemy. Now we can understand why the shadows and the light don't match each other. That's why they are like vinegar and water don't mix. Now we know how we need to be and who we need to act. So for this reason and more, it's important to decide which child of which father we want to be. A child of the enemy or a child of Yahweh? I choose to be a child of Yahweh, so I need humbleness, gentleness, kindness, the fruit of the Ruah, the gift of the Ruah too. Because if you don't have the gifts of the Ruah, you don't have discernment, and without discernment, you cannot tell who is who. You're not going to tell which angel is from who. And if you don't know who is who, you don't to which angel you're talking with. You don't know with which angel you're talking with. For that, the good and bad advices, the good and bad friendships, the good and bad relationships, we need to have the discernment of Yahweh in the maximum level for sure. Because we can be talking with a person as human as us, but in reality we're talking with a bad spirit or with a good spirit. We need to be careful of who we talk, because bad spirits are not the only ones that are loud and we cannot see with our human eyes. They are too the one who said, "I'm your friend," or the one who is your couple, or the one who said, "I'm here for you." This go higher. For this reason, we can understand that we are not for everyone. So for that is the process. When we decide to be child of Elohim, we are not for everyone, because it's going to come the good spirit like us, but it's going to come the ones with bad spirit too. And we need the discernment of Yahweh to know with which intentions they are coming to our life. We need to be careful to who we open the door and let him in, because if we let him into our house, and that house can be the place or our body, we are letting them stay. In the scripture, we have the story of Dinah, the daughter of Jacob / Israel. She was abused by the prince of Shechem, and their souls became one just for the intimacy of the moment they have. This is really deeply, and I always knew about. But now with this revelation, this go higher. Is a whole new thing. If we go to the new pact, we can read in the second book of Corinthians, chapter 6, verses 14 through 15, that told us, "Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Messiah with Belial? Or what part hath he that believed with an infidel?" And in the first book of Corinthians, chapter 6, verses 18 through 20, said, Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit which is in you, which ye have of Elohim, and ye are not your own? For ye are bought with a price. Therefore glory Elohim in your body and in your spirit, which are Elohim. He's telling us the same message. And this happened with Dine and Shechem. If you give the permission to somebody, as friends or as something else, the bad spirit that person got is going to affect you through depression, to invite you and insist you to give the freedom to your worldly desires, and it's going to be a spiritual battle through the temptations and the start of the warfare that can come to a lukewarm relationship with Yahweh, because you're going to want more to sin than obey Yahweh. Yahweh gave me the revelation or the explanation to these words through an image that come to my mind. I see a preteen in my bed scrolling or texting or just whatever on her phone while she is with her friend. Then her friend is a female friend that is next to her. And they're just there, like chilling normally. But then it's not the female friend anymore with that preteen. It's a big and messy shadow behind the teen who is at her phone. That shadow starts to grow around her to occupy the whole place. While hearing this revelation, I asked Yahweh, why preteens? Like, it can be half a message because it have exclusively preteens, not adults, not elders, not people in their 20s. And yeah, because that same sin that I see is what I experiment as a preteen with a female friend that opened a lot of doors of shadows in my life that start with her and continue by the phone. Yahweh just told me that exactly what happened to me is the topic that we're talking here, but now explained by the Bible. So let's go back to the deeply thought with Dine and Shechem. She was abused, so it wasn't her decision of having intimacy with Shechem. Knowing this, we need to be careful to who we accept as our couple. This explains why us believers we take so personal our chastity and purity. Let's read Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23. Keep the heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Because to the people we open our heart, we are letting in a visitor that is just only into a visit or to stay, and we don't want that visitors. So when Dine and Shechem's soul became one for the intimacy they have, they became one, as Adam tells us in Genesis chapter 2, verse 23. Adam and Eve became one as Yahweh the Father and Joshua the Son are one. As the same way we are one with Joshua as the body of the Messiah, that us, and Messiah as the head of the body, and as the girlfriend of the Lamb and the groom. The body of the Messiah is by a lot of people, but because all of them have the same faith and work for Him, we became one. So we have to be aware of what we talk and what we see through phones, through technology, because by these tools, those spirits can connect with us and be one together. We have eyes who are the lamp of the body, and through them they can connect with our heart. Through this, you can start and uniquely joke. If you stay with them, you are letting a bad spirit into you. But if you have a good spirit as a man and a woman virtually of Elohim, you're going to have His peace mature, spiritually, physically, and emotionally glow up together because you have the light of Yahweh and you are one with Him as a couple. Sheshem was selfish because he liked her and he just felt the desire in all his body and take her without her permission. But later of the act he made with her, he regretted and wanted to do the things in the correct way because they soul became one and he fell in love with her. Weird way of propose. Why this happened? Like, why he changed so drastically? Because their souls became one. It's like a fusion, you know? So the good soul that Dine has mixed with the bad soul of Sheshem. That's why he changed and wanted to do things correctly, while Dine's soul was corrupted by his and now was in a fight of good and bad. They marry, but they don't have children because if they have to, it was going to be a bad generation, fighting for doing good, but ending doing the bad as their parent. And Joshua come by the generation of Sam to Jacob, the 12 clans, and continue. Because Sam have a good spirit as Noah, as Jacob, as Boaz, and all of the people that they mention about the generation of Joshua. Till our days. That is the generation he is seeking for. Sheshem was like Saul when he was being tormented by a bad spirit, and when David played the harp, that bad spirit had to run, and Saul came back to reality. When Sheshem committed the act with Dine, he was possessed, because the enemy wanted to break the plan, the design of Yahweh, because she was daughter of Jacob, and from his sons become Israel. The 12 clans are for 12 men, the 12th son of Jacob. In total, Jacob have 13 children, but from the 12 that are men became the clans, and Dine was the daughter. Daughters cannot have that privilege of have a clan because she wasn't a man. She was the only daughter, and in that era, the opportunity of being part or have her own clan as her brothers was to be a man too. So Hasitan wanted her to feel less when she was not, cause she is part of the promise Yahweh make to Abraham. He wanted to destroy that family through the dignity of Dine, because as nobody knows the importance of it, he know how important is the dignity. That is why he is out of heaven. By the rules, she was going to be treated as the sin they committed. At least she don't born for Moses' age. Because if it wasn't Moses' age, Sheshem and her will be murdered. Hasitan loved that his plan of corruption came reality. Through his plan, he broke the heart of Dine. He broke the pact on her. We can see in Jeremiah 31, verses 31 to 33, that Yahweh talked to Jeremiah that he make a promise to us that he's going to do a new pact in our heart. So for that reason, he broke the heart of Dine by using Sheshem and corrupt her soul. As he broke the pact in Eve when she ate the forbidden fruit. The way it started with Eve and continued with Adam is the same way it started with Dine and continued with Reuben and the concubine of Jacob. When the serpent talked to Eve, she convinced her that she wasn't to die and there would be like goddess. She ate and made her husband eat of the fruit too, because she wasn't dead physically, But the thing she don't knew is that she was already dead. Then they was expulsed for the garden, and the rest of the history we know. The Bible explains us how shadow with shadow are like vinegar and oil, but shadow with light is like vinegar and water. But light with light is pure water, a water that is not corrupted, like the water of Messiah offers us. In the same book of Genesis, we continue seeing these examples with the daughter of Lot and Lot. They lived in Sodom, and the pagans, like the bad spirit that live in that place, take control of his daughters and accomplish a bad plan of having babies for his own dad. Let's take a pause to vomit. Honestly, it feels so bad that my mouth say those words. Okay. Reuben is the firstborn, but the favorite of Jacob was Joseph, the firstborn of Rachel. It's like Lucifer and Joshua. With all of this information, I can believe, or I can assume, that the preference of Jacob had for Joseph wasn't just something humanly. It's not just only because he loved more Rachel than Leah. Maybe it can be because Jacob's seed, which is spirit, got his sons. And the fruit proof about it because you know how the other sons act and how Joseph act, and we can see that. Even in the New Past said that you're going to know who is who by their fruits. Let's go to the second conclusion. We need to be aware of who we talk, who we accept, and who we deny, because we can be accepting an angel of Elohim, and the Bible talk about it, but can be accepting to a bad spirit. And if you deny a good spirit, you're denying Yahweh. But if you deny a bad spirit, you're doing completely okay, because you're denying what we need to deny, and that is justice. Taking back to the topic of Diane and Eve, the enemy is always going to use the woman, because who is her protector? The man. Who is her provider? The man. Who is her heart? Because she is a missing rib. Exactly, the man. The men have a lot of responsibilities here. Okay, let's ask, why Adam and Eve sinned? Because Adam wasn't the sample for Eve. Maybe this is going to make your mind explode, but let's continue. Adam was made as the image of Yahweh. He was made by the hands of Yahweh, not by his voice, like everything else in their respective days. Adam was made by his hand and was from him, but he wasn't doing his job, and for that reason the devil had the opportunity to talk with Eve, because he was not protecting her how he's supposed to. Adam not protect Eve as Messiah protect his girlfriend. For that, when the enemy talked to her, she got convinced by his words, even if it was a lie mixed with truth. For that reason, the man is not just only to be the provider or the protector or the lead of the family. It is all of this together in the human form and in the prayer and in fasting and learning, having the fruit and gift of the Ruah. Matthew chapter 6 verse 21 and verse 33. The verse 21 say, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." And the verse 33, But seek you first the kingdom of Elohim and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. A man that can provide the spiritual and the human form is doing like Joshua does. Because the Bible is a mirror for us, and we are the mirror, the Bible, for others. Because our fruit let the people know from who we are to one is our and to what is our dad. Sorry. Because if the enemy is your dad, you're going to do all the horrendous things that the world have normalized. But if you're a child of Elohim, you're going to show it through humbleness, through gentleness, through kindness, through love, through forgiveness. How the Bible tells us to be, and people are going to notice it because you're the light through the shadows, and shadows only know shadows. So when they see you, they are going to feel that you are different because you don't act like them. That is good. For that, we need to be aware of which spirit we let in. We cannot let any spirit in because not all of them are good. Some of them, yes, and some of them, no. Because that we have the word and heaven. Because that we have siblings in the faith and enemies. We need to take care because are going to combat a spirit into human form. Their mission is to destroy the relationship that Yahweh and you have contract and put in effort. They want to destroy your castle, the opportunity of foundation you got because they don't have it anymore like us. I'm going to ask you something. When you act, are you going to act as a child of Elohim, or are you going to act as a child of the enemy? Let's go to the third conclusion. I said again, we need to take care of which spirit we're letting, because not all of them are good. But they can act like good spirit by giving you compliments, by giving you emotional support, by encouraging your ideas, by giving you good advices. Because how the enemy get into the garden? As hesitant? No. He get it as the most beautiful animal with fluent words that convince it. How Eve get convinced? He was so good with words, and he still is. So we need to clean our ears with the Ruach of Yahweh and his discernment to know which voice are we listening to. He's going to convince you if you are not prepared and awake, but if you, then he is defeated. He have never showed himself as how ugly and bad he is. He has never go as the infernal self he has. He always shows with a costume, with a mask, as how people do in October 31. He's like how I like to compare him, like a cake. A beautiful, delicious, tempting cake, white cake, that is there for the public in the front of the store. You cannot resist anymore, and you order a piece of that cake. But when they give it to you, in the inside of that cake are a lot of disgusting insects. Do you still want them? Are you going to eat it? No, you don't. You don't want that piece of cake, but you pay for it. You pay for it with your salvation. That's the way Hasatan shows to everyone. He shows like, partying is not bad, alcohol is not bad, and all those things. Let's use the samples. Biblical samples. First one. You can drink alcohol. In the Bible, it's not forbidden. Even Joshua made them for the wedding he was. I'm tired of hearing that excuse. But what happened with Noah? For drinking too much, he got drunk and got naked. and mocked by his own son. When he woke up the next morning, he was ashamed. Are you going to be ashamed the every next morning just for half fun? Just for drinking a little bit of alcohol? Just because it's not rated as forbidden in the word? Let's go to the second example. You can tattoo yourself because Yahweh looked to the heart, not the appearance. Using that verse in first of Samuel. I'm tired of that excuse too. Oh really? What about Leviticus chapter 19 verse 28? Do you know what that when Yahweh said that to Samuel? To Samuel, it was because of the pact about the bloodline David comes. That is about the commandments. It look funny, it look tempting, it look good, but it's not realistic. When we were teens, we relive that life. We fantasy with going to partying, we fantasy with tattoo. I was one. When I was little, my parents told me that not to tattoo myself because that's not a thing that I would like. And I was just like, okay. But I was fighting with that desire of having a tattoo. I even draw in my skin with some markers and that things. And when I see a person with tattoos, I was just like, wow, that's so cool. But now I understand that no, that is not cool. And I'm not judging person that have tattoos. Are people that have tattoos but now they believe in the Messiah and that was their past life. And if you haven't, I respect you, but when somebody uses the Bible as an excuse just to do what is already a sin, they're just acting like hesitant. When they use a excuse using the Bible, it's not even the truth because it's just misexplaining, using a verse of how I want it to sound, not like how it is. Following the lies of the enemy when in the truth is something already plus is being disobedient and is exactly acting like the daddy of this world. When you have a slap of reality like Shechem from your acts, you're going to regret it. And may you have the chance for you, but maybe not, and that like Shechem, and that can be both ways. We need to have our eyes open because exists a spirit for everything. The second book of Chronicles, chapter 80, verses 18 through 21, talk us about the spirit of lie. Yes, and if you read them, you can understand that demons work for Yahweh wills. We see that in the book of Job and in the new path when it said that even demons believe and tremble. So don't be surprised. Not everyone that look nice, that feel nice, that vibe with your spontaneity, that support and encourage you are good spirit. They are acting, masking the good, but they are not. And yeah, it's raining. Hallelujah. It's like the draws we see on social medias or maybe in Pinterest about a person creating his happy mask and in the inside is feeling super sad. That's how the enemy works. He masks the bad things are good, but they are not good in fact. They are going to make you the worst person alive. We need to open the spiritual eyes really big to see what is actually happening and from which spirit and that is coming. In the first of all, I asked Yahweh how his angels not make noises while they are protecting us. Because when he protects us, sometimes it's not that visible. It can be like forgetting the keys in the house, and when we get into the car, he remembers us that we left the keys into the house, so we in again into the house and for Natalie keys searching till we find them in a place we never expect. in the laundry or in front of our faces. Yeah, we got late, but protected because at the time or the place we were going, it was to pass in an accident that involucrated us. While when you have the experience with the devil angels, you hear footsteps, shadow noises without a reason. Yahweh answered me. They are loud because they want to impact us. So when somebody is really noisy and loudly, not because you have a good spirit and it's their personality, it's acting like them because it starts to impact us as good or as bad. Because they can act as your fan, the most lovely one, but in reality, doing your being your big hater. Plastic. Remember la caperucita roja? Why you have big eyes? She's asked, and the wolf answered her, for seeing you better. So they act. So they act like your bestie. Why you have big hands? To touch you better, answered the wolf. And the last question. When you are just yelling, screaming to Caperucita Roja, no, go wrong, get out of there, she asked. Oh, and why you have big feet? To eat you better. Wait, what? And you already eaten. That is how this works. You notice that something is out, that not something doesn't match, doesn't connect, something's it's feeling out. But when you continue and don't go and don't answer, that the Ruah is giving you the discernment of that people is not correct for you, then happen that you get eaten by the wolf. That's your last word because you're ready and talk with that bad spirit. It's sad that your last words are wait what? The Bible said before this is story for kids in Matthew chapter 7 verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. So we need to be alert and not always accepting everybody. We are not going to treat bad people now, but we need to treat them carefully because not the way they show to us is the way they are. And I'm going to let the message here because this continue. It's a really long message, a really long revelation, and this is going to be the part 1. So stay tuned for the part 2. Have a blessed day, blessed night, or blessed afternoon, and see you the next one. Shalom.